Welcome back to the stream. We're getting into a ZVP. I did ask and confirm we have Probe in Australia and Scarlett in Canada, so not... I mean... Australia, right? There's always going to be bad ping. But anyways, on the West Coast server, so still favoring Scarlett. In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, it is Probe. Australia's best representing Team Legacy. Legacy and Z. Kind of rhymes. The top left has the blue Zerg representing 9,999 MS. It is Scarlett. Although actually representing Team Newbie, but that's fine. Spending her time, a lot of her time in China, in Korea, in Canada as well, occasionally. She does live on the East Coast, but I'm still pretty sure that her ping to West is better than Probe's ping to anything in America. But Probe's used to this, isn't he? And still manages to get some decent results. What are their results so far? Let's take a quick peek over here at the not updated. Oh, they finally updated it. Scarlett currently has 2-0, so she's looking for her third series win. Probe, oof. Unfortunately, is at 0-2 and an 0-4 map score, so not his day today. Luckily for NA, they play 3 series today, 4 series tomorrow, so maybe he'll get back in the groove, maybe he'll face opponents he's more comfortable against tomorrow, or, you know, whatever. So they kind of get that, not exactly second chance, but kind of. They don't just bomb out in one day, two series. They have a bunch of series to play, and if someone else bombs out even harder, hey, they could still make it through based off of map score and head-to-head. As a reminder, bottom 2 are eliminated. The rest of them gets seeded into a ladder-like thingy bracket. And if you manage to get first, which Scarlett, Time, and Neeb are all so far the ones competing for first, then you do get sent right into those finals. So big moolah, big money, cash money, and also you have a better chance to win the entire thing as well. Great stuff, isn't it? So, Probe opens up with a Sentry and a Stalker here. Gonna go after that Overlord, Houston the Phoenix, get some scouting done, but what's he's doing behind this? It's a good old-fashioned Dark Shrine, but not what we're used to. Not the Robo included and then drop the Archons. This is gonna be a little bit cheesier. What is this Phoenix doing? I guess scouting for Overlord spots, because he needs to have his units in the right position to stop her from scouting this. If this was a regular Archon drop, then if they scouted, it's like, it kind of sucks, but it's not the biggest deal, as you still are primarily utilizing the Archons and having some map presence and some pressure applied. If it's just DTs, you really need them to not scout this. Now, his Hallucinated Phoenix, I think, just barely saw... No, it didn't. Okay. Well, that's the price you pay when you search around for Overlords, I guess. So the lair is a little bit faster than kind of... It's not unusual, but it's on a 4-minute lair. It's like a 340 or something, maybe even a little bit earlier. So she will have Overseers basically in the nick of time, where 10 seconds can be the difference of saving a hatchery or losing a hatchery. She has no idea what Probe is doing, yet she has not gone for any safety defenses here. No Spore Crawler to transfer around, but she is immediately getting an Overseer, and that's what's most important here. She does not have a lot of units to combat the DTs head-to-head, but she can pull the drones away, and this will not be as nearly as catastrophic. Now, Probe did not pair up his entire DT force to kill one hatchery. He was going for the drone kill, so she will have a lot of lost mining time, and she is losing drones in the main base. But this is kind of dedicated. The DTs are going to guarantee die. They're not going to turn the Archons, as I was talking about. They're not going to have, you know, life beyond this. They are going to die, and that's where you really need the trade-off to work out well for you. You need to get more than just 8 drone kills. He's up to 14, plus a queen here. Is that enough? JK about the queen. Really thought she was gonna die. Don't lie to me and say that you guys thought she was gonna live. Okay. Very cheesy stuff, you know? It's so funny because we do have Dark Templars included in the game, so it's weird to say that they're really super cheesy, but to put a proxy pylon down, to do them faster, to make them so dedicated, no escape, right? That is just a little bit straight up cheesy. The only thing they could do differently, add a little bit more cheese to it, would be to, like, proxy it, hide the Dark Shrine, right? So, I feel like this is the situation where if Scarlett were to take no more damage, and that's actually very possible, from here on out, she would still be fine. But if she takes any more damage, that's when Probe really does start to find the, like, reap the rewards. Like, he was rewarded, but he hasn't really, like, you know, spent it all on, like, Maseratis and stuff like that. Like, he still needs to actually put it into his 401k and get a savings account and then buy his mom a house first. Like, he's not quite there yet, despite that, I would say, still decent opener. 2 more drones just went down to something, by the way. And if Scarlett were to go for an all-in as well, which I'm seeing no drones being made, lots of overlords, is he going to be prepared for that? If he had taken a third behind this, and she was trying to catch him in macro, okay, there go the drones, alright. Then I think he's actually a pretty damn good spot, because this Nexus could have been, like, already halfway done, or even a little bit more. But she didn't see the third Nexus with that changeling, so that might have been prompted her, you know, what is actually a decent number of roaches. I mean, 14 for 2 Archons. Yeah, alright. But now that she sees the third Nexus on the way, she's not, like, it's not that amazing of a time. And I think she is fine as far as the macro game goes. Hard to say. You don't see that opener very often. I did actually press the tweet, didn't I? I did. Cool. Producing things. Spire's on the way. Probe has not gotten a follow-up scout since the Archon drop was denied over here, so I don't count that as a scout. The Spire is going down to the main base, one of the last places for the Hallucinated Phoenix to look. You should see it. I thought I was going the other way. I was reading the rally wrong. So it sees it as it finishes. It doesn't give him a lot of time to prepare, but I think it is just barely enough to stop down a cannon or a shield battery. Probe rally was being annoying. Loses 3 probes to the Lings. Observer has sight on the army movement, it looks like, as well as it's going to open up some creep spread denial, which we all know what Scarlett's rather good at. That's creep spread. 5 mutas, that's it. Alright. And then going into a Baneling nest. 65 workers, she would use a 4th base right now, but she is not planning one down. She is getting maxed out first, perhaps scared of an attack. And when her mutas get over there and she gets a clearer vision of what is going on, War Prism, good recall there. When she sees that probe is teching up, still getting probes, you know, it doesn't have a burst of gateways, you know, that type of thing, like then maybe she'll add on that 4th base. Well, there she goes actually right now. But also maybe more drones, maybe more tech, you know, when she feels a little more comfortable. But kind of the first priority there was almost getting completely maxed out. Maybe she got on a 4th base and been totally fine, but hard to read, hard to read. Mutas will provide basically nothing as far as attacking goes. Like, I don't think they can do much damage. They are up at 7. But a single cannon does okay against that, plus a shield battery does wonderful against that. But they will provide that map presence, even if it's a little bit. They will provide some scouting, and they can deal with a War Prism, so she doesn't have to worry about being harassed anymore. Her army is kind of basic. The inclusion of the Ling Baneling does make it a little more flexible. It means that it's not just usually like a numbers game, which if you go up against roaches, it's kind of like a easier thing to read. Okay, I beat that army. With Banelings, you don't know if they're coming in from the left, right, down, bottom, like where are they coming from, and if they get good connections, they can really change a game. So I like the addition, but it is an entirely lair-based army. She's looking to completely swamp her opponent here. 4 bases, sure, but not too high on drones. Hitting as centrifugal hooks finishes up. Single upgrade versus the +2 of Probe. He's got a disruptor here, looking for a good shot. A little bit of surprise to see that come back into play in this matchup, but I do like it. Force fields can buy time. He can go ahead and stall out. Oh no, the Banelings! Okay, that was kind of close. That was kind of close. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. Yeah, he can stall out the 4th base. Wait. Just by force putting down the third, I think he's safe, but... Wait, did we just kill the 13 probes? Well, I'll never know. They died. 13 probes went down somewhere, but that is still enough to saturate 3 bases, and probe just slaps on the 4th base again once the army moves around. Behind this, Scarlet goes for an infestation pit, couple of stack defense setup, I guess, as well. Worried about a warp prism since her mutas are dead, or something along those lines, wondering where it's gone to. Couple of disruptor shots. She splits kind of into them, unfortunately, and maybe made them even better than they would have been. Very effective tool here. She had a good number of mutas. Maybe she tries to dive on top of these disruptors, but she is running out of options. She's trying to split Probe's attention, and it worked for a little bit there, wherever those probes went down. Probably because he wasn't paying attention, but Scarlet is not finding that just overwhelming attack that, like, boom, suddenly you weren't paying attention 1 second, you're dead. That didn't happen, so she's forced to find other ways to play this game. Infestation Bit was for that hive. Greater Spire, I guess, is the ultimate goal here. She's continuing on with her attack upgrades and no carapace. Is she gonna be able to hold Probe's counterattack? He didn't really lose a lot of army supply holding. He's got Blink +2, a ton of disruptors. How do you defeat that many disruptors? Good run by. Good run by. Probe is going to kind of take the bait here. Very hard call for the Protoss to make. He's been trying to get this 4th base down forever at this point. I believe it's all been cancels. They could double check that. Oh, 1 was a kill. 1 was a kill. So that's like 3 cancels, 1 kill. Probe hasn't traded a ton of the army, so I think he's still fine as far as 4th bases go, but I think the real problem is that if he had let that die or cancel it or something, he still would have been distracted, and he didn't want to run on creep against Ling Baneling Ravager distracted. So I think that was just one of those, like, wisdom calls right there. He knows he could screw it up. So he's not even going to try and take a 4th base. Okay, he is. Defend it with DTs. And now he's going to focus entirely on the front lines here. Scarlet's going to utilize these chokes to the best of their advantage. Good split away from that one. Dodges the rest of them. This one's going to get a decent hit. No, it's okay. Most of these whiffs, actually. But there's so many. There's 8 disruptors. That was 6 shots, I think, so there'd still be 2 more. She will never have an opportunity to just completely collapse on this army. And if she can't do that, then she probably can't win this game. She would need Greater Spire or, like, Baneling connections, maybe? Like, I don't know. She's got a couple of Bile connections. Now she's going up her own ramp. Oh, no, the disruptor shots are going to be so damn good here. Scarlet's going to falter. She's going to be taken out and at least gain number 1. Here come the Banelings finally crashing in. The disruptors aren't going to actually get to hit them. And oh my god! Oh, the disruptors! 5 of them died. I guess I was right about the Baneling call, right? I didn't expect to be, though. Okay. 4th base was also, what, killed again? It was killed again. DTs were F2'd somewhere or just couldn't kill enough Lings. Disruptors now being rallied forward. Freebies! Thank you very much, Scarlet. She did lose her natural base, but that was one of the lesser mining ones, right? And she still managed to save a decent number of drones, still at 68, so she actually, I mean, that was her, she had, she's still at 4 bases. She's gonna cook the 5 bases again. Okay. Alright. Spicy. So Scarlet gets the win on the battle and is now in a prime position to go into the late game. She got a Greater Spire on the way. She's continuing her upgrades. Her creep spread was denied, yeah, but I'm not so worried about that. Probe just doesn't have a follow-up attack. His army was so expensive. It wasn't just the disruptors. He had a majority stalker army as well, which we all know is more expensive than, like, charge lots. The War Prism's taken care of because of the Corruptor availability, and the DTs were unfortunately dropped off in front of a Spore as well as Overseers. Wow. I can't believe I saw, like, a 160-ish Protoss army and a Zerg's Natural and it died. Huh. I'm gonna watch chat's reaction for that one. I think Scarlet's gonna win the game from here on out, because now it's such a more realistic opportunity for her to wait to Brood Lords. If she has to, 3 Disruptors, you can have that moment where they're all spent and you can jump on top of the army, which I thought was missing from the last fight. This one's gonna get a decent number of Ravagers, but what about the rest of the army? Here come the Brood Lords as well, and while Blink is available with +3 on the Stalkers, There's still that ground armor to chew through the stalkers should they blink forward. Good baneling connections. Even though it requires so many to kill stalkers, good enough. And GG is called. Oh my. I can't believe how effective those banelings were. He has 80 force fields and she's in trouble. There's 2 good disruptor shots. That's all the banelings gone and Alright. Okay, number 2 on the way. It's gonna be Port Alexander. Banelings are cool. Hey, we hit that 300 sub count. Yay. Roly-poly splody. Exactly. Both players are ready. I wonder if Scarlett... I can't believe she was confident. The banelings, she was probably like, okay, so banelings, maybe they can do something, but to just predict that they would kill everything... I'm guessing she was sweating right there. Because, while she was on 5 bases, and losing a natural wasn't, like, the biggest economical hit, it was just a little skip up to the main base, and you're not going to break a Protoss on the main base choke, right? So that she'd lose all her, she'd lose more economy and all her production and all of her tech. And that would have been just, Probe would have recalled out, and that would have been definitely his game to win, but... Instead, stopped short. I don't think we can see that happen again. The top left, down 1. It is the red Protoss probe. In the bottom right is the blue Zerg. It is Scarlett. Hey, I said I liked the baneling choice. She had gone pure Roach Ravager. Once those disruptors were against chokes, there's no way the Roach Ravager gets through that. Even if she got good corrosive bottles, I don't think they're going to be nearly as good as those banelings. So, validation. Thank you, Rick Benz, with 100 bits. What a baneling game. Roly-poly-oly, boys. They're pretty cool units. I loved back in Wings of Liberty when Leenock kind of first started to really show how powerful banelings could be. I don't know if he invented the style, but he definitely was the one that popularized it. Him and Naniwa had a rivalry that was pretty cool. And I loved it, you know, but that was actually based more off of baneling drops, which you don't see that much anymore. We also had different units, different metas, and just people were worse, straight up worse back then. But there was always the time I enjoyed ZVP the best, and it still is. Laying baneling, I think, is so much more interesting than watching Roach Ravager. Or Roach Hydra, or even Lurkers. Like, Lurkers are cool, I guess, but... There's nothing like watching those 2 banelings just barely connect to the High Templar. Good stuff. Bring the cat back, he left. He has better things to do than nap all day. Just kidding. He naps all day. Robo opener from Probe. Can't forget, well, the highlight of that last game was definitely the banelings. Probe did open up with a decent amount of damage. 14 drones, maybe like 1 queen killed the DTs. But I was sitting there and I was like, is that really worth it? Is it worth losing out on a follow-up map control or follow-up attack? Because if you do the Dark Shrine and the Archons, and not only do you get the Warp Prism to float around, you also maybe can add in some units when they are trying to over... oh, shoot, what's the word? Words are hard. Someone said that in chat for me when I was confused about that last game, and you're right, words are hard. Overcompensating, there we go. But, you know, it's just ETs. It's just, it's that, and then I hope they do the damage in them out. So I was like, is 14 enough? And then he didn't really get that fast for third base, and yeah, it's just, it was a weird opener. Hesitate to say that it was like a really strong lead or a winning move, but I felt like he was in the lead. Anyways, here we have more of a typical opener. I would have said this 6 months ago, though. Robo openers were rare, but happened. Now they're super common. Kind of, I think it was because of the Nidus Swarm, but not just because of the Nidus Swarm, which is what other people will say, is that it was like a direct result of it. I'm not sure about that. Protoss players could correct me, but it kind of felt like it was coming into play a little before Nidus Swarm really was. But, you know, this could be different on ladder. So we had a couple of the Immortal Sentry all-ins, you know, not nearly as many as the old all-in from Liberty, but still, that would come out. You had some abilities to poke and prod and be like, oh, watch, I'm scary, and then you would just back off and take a third Nexus. And you also had some other uses of the Robo firsts, like going into Warp Prism harassment with like Stalkers, right? What was Stats doing? Crazy boy. But you do also just straight up have this attack. And this isn't the Immortal Sentry attack. That would be much later with the gases. No, this is the very fast attack on that third base with very basic units. There's a couple of force fields, an Immortal, and then a lot of Stalkers. So if you're defending with Roaches, which is what Scarlett's going to do, it's kind of the catch-all defensive unit in the early game, you will be effective against them, especially when they're in low numbers. Both the Stalkers and the Immortal are very effective, right? So you need to start building units extremely fast when you think there's an attack like this on the way. Let's see if Scarlett built it in time. So it's 47 workers, sorry. Reverse those. And she is going to pull the drones to help out here. She can lose drones for this. Probe is gasless on that natural base behind it. And while if he continues to do damage here, if he ends up sniping the third base, there might be a macro game. If he fails to do either one of those, win or snipe the third base, then this could be very bad mid-game for him. Scarlett even had time to get that Spine Curl up and ready. She has a couple Queens. She has a couple Ravagers. I think she will be good to go here. But it's, you know, it's always tough to call. More micro going down from Australian. He's actually, unfortunately, going to run us a couple Corrosive Biles. Good prediction shots from Scarlett there. Immortal barely still standing, off of creep now. But Scarlett's Roach Speed is finished up. She managed to fit a lair in before she defended this, and Probe just not going to find what he wanted from this push. Down 13 workers, nothing going on behind this. So close. I mean, you see how many units are really left over, and you can imagine how a couple of Stalkers could snowball. If she had gone up to 52 workers, or God forbid 55, then maybe she does just lose this third base, but she's able to see that coming. Was able to get Roaches, started the kind of defensive, like, okay, what's going on here, Roaches, and then once she was like, oh my god, it actually is an attack, started building nothing but Roaches. Checked her vision to see exactly what she saw. It wasn't very much, but with how this build really is, and, you know, Probe continues to invest into it, she knows it's completely all in. She doesn't really have to worry about over-defending in this case. Even getting an Overseer here in case there's a follow-up Dark Shrine, maybe? The Probe would immediately set on its Twilight Council, and I think some Chinese Protoss has a build like that. But anyways, then it could be a problem, but nope. No DTs, no Archons, just good old Gateway units and this Immortal that is already so darn weak, and Probe is going to be forced to tap out. Scarlett holds, kind of with flying colors, too. GG.